Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another experiment here on the channel, and this is one I am very much looking forward to. We are in Football Manager 2019 today, but we have loaded up the 0304 database by the mad scientist. If you have not seen it yet, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's an outstanding piece of work. I'll leave the Steam link for it, the workshop link, in the description below. I'll leave a link to Mad Scientist's Twitter account as well. Do check it out because it's outstanding, the work that's gone into it. He's taken all of the information, I think he said from CM4, and just input all of the attributes and things from that game into this. And it's so good to see. You want to check out some of the clubs and see these players in the game. Van Nistelrooy, Darren Fletcher, the hot prospect. Let's look at Manchester United's squad. But yeah, look, Ronaldo's just come to the club. You've still got the likes of Roy Keane. You know, Ferdinand's just joined. There's, you know, the Nevilles, Tim Howard, Kleberson, Jamba. Those guys. Arsenal had just, I think, this was either their invincible season or they just had it. If I know how to spell Arsenal, that would be great. But yeah, Lehmann, Sol Campbell, Henri Pires, Freddie Ljungberg, Patrick Vieira, Ashley Cole. So many names. Bergkamp still kicking around at 34. Barcelona are an outstanding side at this time. You look at the names and hear how they've come to be. They haven't picked a team yet. I'll get the positions figured out. But Victor Valdez, Puyol when he was 25. Xavi, young Xavi, Rafael Marquez, Van Bronckhorst, Riquelme's out on loan. He was a very good player on that game. Luis Enrique, Mata, Ronaldinho just come to Barcelona from PSG. Look at that. What an absolute star we all know he was. Kluivert. There is a young Lionel Messi in here, I think. Yes. He doesn't look up to much. Well, he does. He has, you know. We'll see how he does. I'm not sure because I feel like on the older games, he didn't really grow that much. So maybe that's going to change on this one. I don't know. It says he's promising, so he should get pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be best in the world kind of good. But we'll see how he develops at some point. The other club I want to show you is AC Milan, because this was their heyday right here. Like Dida's, Nesta, Maldini, Cafu, Gattuso. If I keep saying names, I'm going to miss them. I know I am. But Pirlo, Seedorf, Rui Costa, Kaká, Rivaldo, Inzaghi, Shevchenko, John Del Thomason. So many outstanding players. You get to play them on this game. You had the same feeling when I think it was at 95, 96 last season. I didn't play the database last year, but I did look at it, and just the throwback is great. But what the plan is here for this experiment, to get back on track after that little nostalgia trip. If you want to see more, just download it yourself and check it out. It's really a great thing to look at. But what we're going to do for this video is simulate forward the same number of years that it would take to go from 0304 to the end of the current season. So I did that in another video. You can check that out if you want. I used Championship Manager 0304 and got to the end of 2019. So 16 years. So what we've done, or what I've done, is simulate to the end of the 2034 season, which is the same time frame between each, you know, of the season. This was 2003 right now. And we're going to see how things look. We can compare it to that last video. Take a look at how these players' careers kind of spanned as we go. Of course, there's going to be a lot of different, you know, new gens that come into it, because there's not going to be the same youngsters that have appeared over the last few years. But it'll be cool to see just how things have evolved, how these clubs could have turned out given the position they were in at the time. So sit tight. We'll see you back here again in the year 2034. Alright, we are back. June 1st, 2034. We're going to dive right into it. So how this is going to work, we'll go through the major leagues, kind of like what we did before, the Premier League, La Liga, Germany. I'll look at Scotland just because it's me. Italy, look at France probably as well. And then anything else, you know, we'll look at World Cups, European Championships, things like that, and the big awards. If there's anything I don't see that you would like to know, just shoot me a comment down below, and I'll try and find it out for you, because I know there's going to be a lot of stuff in here that it's kind of going to be individual to the person to see what they want to have a look at. But I'm already seeing, I haven't looked at any of this yet, but I'm already seeing some interesting things here. David O'Leary, insecure at Inter Milan. Alex McLeish at Deportivo. So there's a lot of little things here that I'm very curious about. Barcelona's available. They must have had a bit of a tough year. But we're going to start anyway with the Premier League. So let's click on it right here because there's a couple available jobs. So the Premier League in 2034 was won by Manchester United. So there we go. Manchester United, the Premier League winners in 2034. What I think we are going to find is that there's going to be a lot less or a lot fewer kind of major changes as far as the leagues go, because the games as they've gone into the future have been a lot more stable in terms of where clubs are in the league. There's a lot less fluctuation, probably just because of the way football is now. But just kind of bear that in mind. You might not see some of the same surprising results we had on the 03-04 experiment or the 01-02 that we've done before. That's just, I think, the way it's going to be. But we do have Lionel Messi at Chelsea. 7.84. Okay, he turned out pretty good. Yep, legendary attack. Yeah, he did okay. Alright, I was wrong. He still did a pretty good job. He joined Chelsea in 2022. It's been there a while. It's been there a long time. And he's been alright, hasn't he? Yeah, okay, yep. He's pretty tasty. But a Chelsea legend, not a Barcelona legend. Only 24.5 million, what a steal. So, Manchester United, the league champions. We have Cristiano Ronaldo still at Manchester United. Spent his whole career there, I'm assuming, yeah. 542 games for United. He's still at 34, a handy player. He has pretty good ratings wise. He's not been as good as Messi, but he has done a solid job. I'm curious to know where he's been played. I'm assuming, okay, yeah, the wings and this area is still kind of his area. I think on the game you didn't get this view, but his actual position was a forward. But I played him on the wing anyway, because that's where he played in my mind. This is where he played for Manchester United. But you can play in any of these spots, which is fine. But Manchester United the champions, Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal, Everton, Manchester City, Leicester. Manchester City, remember, we're not the big bankroll team. I don't know how deep we got in terms of changing club finances and stuff, but Adam Lallana, I don't think he would have existed. Where did he start? Southampton, as you might expect, but he is still in the game. I wonder if that was just him left in, or if, no, he's at Crew, my apologies. 2021, so he kind of came in. Southampton, never mind, yeah, Southampton. So was he on that game? I would never have known that. Genuinely would never have known he was on that. But Manchester City did a good job themselves. There's Leicester, Chelsea, Sunderland, Tottenham. So Leeds managed to stick around. So yeah, there's not a lot of change in terms of, who is in the Premier League. Let's check who's been winning it. Much of the same. So Arsenal kind of continued what was their actual decent spell. They won a couple times, but this was their top team. So they won a couple times. Manchester United picked up 6 times in a row. Arsenal, Newcastle getting a win. Manchester City did pick up a title in 2031, so they have made it to the top despite not actually being put in that position to start the save, which is pretty cool. But it's been Manchester United and Arsenal trading blows, as I think a lot of people probably thought was going to happen at that time, until the big money started to turn up at places like Chelsea and Manchester City. Liverpool still haven't won a championship, but sorry Liverpool fans. Nothing for Chelsea. They've been runners up a couple times, but that's about it. Nothing too much for them. Everton have had a runners up in a 3rd place, but there aren't any real surprises in the Premier League race, which is unfortunate. I wish there might have been something a little different, but there isn't. Let's see. It's player of the month. I wonder if I can get to. Can I go back? And I can't. So Ronaldo, look at all these Messi wins. Joaquin at Liverpool. Robinho at Manchester United for a while. Where is he at now? He's at Celta Vigo. So Robinho had a decent career. He spent most of his career at Celta, actually. 341 games, 133 goals. Wow. Maybe Celta have been a bit of a force. We might find out about that later on. Let me see. Managers of the year. Just to kind of see who has been there. So Jose Antonio Camacho is... Okay, so in the game it starts at Benfica. At the time, Monaco, Madrid had a very good managerial career, just at Manchester United, but won the league. Pellegrini, Hank Tenkate was a Manchester United league winner as well. Sven-Göran Eriksson took Newcastle to got manager of the year with Newcastle. So some recognizable names in there. I think that's all I really want to see with that. Let me go down the leagues a little bit then and see. I want to go to the actual stages though, so we can see this a little bit better. So Portsmouth just made it into the Premier League. It's the first division still, of course. So they just beat Brighton at Wembley in the playoff final. So let's get a look at the league table. So Bolton and Norwich going up with Portsmouth. See if there's any weird names in here. Shrewsbury, a first division side. Preston, Rotherham, and Bournemouth making their way down. I think Bournemouth started very low. They've done pretty well to get to that point. Not really any big names that we know of hanging around in here. Any surprises? Burton Albion just getting themselves promoted. They weren't really much of a side either at this point, I don't think. So it's good for them, along with Luton and Oxford making their way up. Swansea, I believe, are a third division side. They haven't done a lot. Billericay, I think they probably still exist as a National League team with a bunch of money. I don't know if that's completely legitimate that they've just appeared as a shock out of nowhere. But nothing too crazy. Still League 1, League 2. Okay, so maybe... was it changed this far down? It might not have been. We'll take a look at it anyway. Let's see, Bournemouth, there's Wimbledon, the old Wimbledon, Scunthorpe, Mansfield going up. Yeah, so nothing too crazy, nothing too insane. Which is kind of what I expected. That's what Football Manager does. Like I said earlier, it's a lot more stable than it used to be in terms of clubs moving around leagues and craziness like that. The transfers and the manager changes, we all know can still be weird, but they're not as odd as they were back on those older games. So next I would like to see Scotland. If I can just find the league, here we go. So Hearts actually just won it, which is interesting. Oh, Hearts and Rangers. Celtic have done nothing. Do they? Okay, they are still there. But, oh wow. So let's check the winners then. So Celtic won it the first. Celtic only won it twice. They won it the first year, they won it in 2025. But Rangers have been the dominant force. They won 6 times in a row. And then Hearts have actually won it 4 times. So it's Rangers and Hearts. Celtic haven't been in the top 3 the last 2 years. So something's happened to them. They started to fall off a little bit. But that is the history of the league. Let's get into the stages. Then I want to see who exactly. So here we go. We're Celtic 4th. Okay, so they've not been quite as bad as I thought they might have become. But let's see who else might have been in the league at any point. Again, no majorly exciting names turning up, which is a little unfortunate. I wish there would have been a little more. But we'll go back to the current year and we'll drop down. So Ross County making their way up. St Johnstone relegated from the first division, oh dear. Forfar going down as well. Motherwell winning that league, going back to the Premiership where they were at the beginning. Berwick Rangers winning a playoff to stay in the league. Queen of the South and Airdrie going up. Yeah, it's a little, it's a little bit underwhelming. If I'm being honest, it is underwhelming just to see. So far, anyway, there's still time for things to change, of course, but so far it's been a little bit underwhelming in terms of what has actually happened, you know, with the clubs and things, you know, not really changing that much. I was manager of the month this year. I'd like to see managers of the year. I'll see top goal scorer first. So Jamie Vardy playing at Dundee United. There we go. Olivier Giroud at Celtic. So he was able to hang out in there at 32 years old. He's now at PSG. So he played at Celtic for a while, moved to Barcelona. I wonder what he moved for. £8.75 million. Yeah, it wasn't a lot, as you would probably expect. Started rent to Reading for a while. Celtic bought and went to Barcelona. He's moved up in the world for sure as his career's gone on. Jamie Vardy, like I say, was at Dundee United, still is. Miroslav Klose was at Rangers. He's now retired. He went from Rangers to Bayern to Atlanta United in the MLS to see out his career. That has this kind of carried on that trend. John Hartson was still going. Henrik Larsson. That might have been, that was the first season, yeah, so he stayed at Celtic. He didn't go anywhere. Stayed there to see out his career and did a wonderful job at it. We have, that was top goal scorer, Football Writers Player of the Year, Lee Chun-Soo, Alan McGregor, Hearts, Theo Walcott Was at Hearts for a little bit. He's at Real Sociedad now. Giroud again. Diego Forlan made a move to Rangers. He's now retired. Did very kind of journeyman-esque playing career after he left. Milan Barros was at Rangers. I think that might have been... Is that a legitimate thing? I don't know. I think he might have moved there in the game. Then the managers, this one I take a look at as well before we go anywhere. Is it there? Manager of the month? I don't see manager of the year. No, it's not there. Right, never mind. So that's Scotland. Not a whole ton happening there. Let me see if I can just find... I don't think that's even what it's called anymore, is it? No, I'm just going to search for Real Madrid and we'll go from there. Premier Division. I should know that because I've literally just been playing in it. So the Premier Division winners, Celta Vigo. Okay, wow, 100, wow. So Celta have become quite the force in Spain by the looks of it. Oh, Real Madrid wins. Celta have won 3 titles. Real Madrid have won plenty. Barcelona haven't won the league since 2024. But Celta, 103 points. Imagine scoring 98 points and not winning a title. That's pretty crazy. But Celta are in that position now, so they have taken it. Let's pull up the whole table for a little bit here. So what's their squad like, I wonder? I should have done more looking at squads as we go, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world. So Alderweireld, Higuain, who else? Robinho, we already know. Gary Medel. So there's a lot of players. There'll obviously be a lot of new gen players here that we don't recognize, as is the case when you do these things. But let's kind of take a quick look and see who teams have. Sergio Ramos still going to Real Madrid. Alexis Sanchez in there. Casillas on the bench. Luka Modric made his way to Madrid eventually from them. Not even going to try and butcher that name. That just wouldn't be a good idea. He turned into a very good player. Raul, a different, obviously, Raul. Yeah, so a decent looking lineup there. About Barcelona. Gerard Piqué still made his way out there. Marek Hamsik. Who's Danny Bruce? A 26-year-old English centre-half new gen. Okay. Sure. Just stuck out like a sore thumb there. Is that the Diego? It is the Diego from this game. A very solid player. I'd always pick him up on 0304 because he would do very good things. Arturo Vidal is there at 32, kind of hanging out. So there's a lot of players still where you might expect them to be, but again, not a lot has changed. Apart from Celta Vigo making their way to the top, that's definitely something new. Second division, there's not really going to be a ton to see here. Just a couple of B teams. It's as you would. It's almost like I've just played the game, you know, and nothing's really. I could have just simmed forward from the actual database, and you probably wouldn't have known the difference at this point. You know, in terms of where players are and where teams are, things have kind of settled down as they did in reality. Let's go to Germany, the Bundesliga. Well, let's go to top goal scorer and I'll get to it from there. Top goal scorer, Sebastian. I thought it said Sebastian Frey, like the old Fiorentina goalkeeper, and I was very confused. Cavani at Schalke, taking another Huntelaar at Schalke as well. Luis Suarez made his way to Bayern. He's now at Chelsea, so there you go. We might go back and take a look at those clubs because I kind of feel bad for just missing it. Let me see who won. So Schalke, the champions. Dortmund, the second. Bayern, third. Okay. So how has it been historically then, as far as the winners go? So that was Schalke's first title. Bayern have dominated. So Bayern have won every single season apart from 2. Dortmund picking up the win in 2021, and Schalke just winning it there. So it's been business as usual in Germany, I guess, which, you know, some would say that's a bad thing. It is what it is. Let me take a look at some of the awards, see who might have played in here. I'll take a look at the Bayern squad in a minute. We already saw top goal scorer, see managers. Jose Mourinho picking up the title with Schalke. I wonder where his career's taken him. It's at Porto. I'll say Schalke. This is the second spell there, Celta Vigo, before they got really good Lazio, the Portugal manager, and then Schalke again. Thomas Schaff, Hiddink, Ancelotti, Mancini, Capello. Arsene Wenger made his way to Bayern, so he didn't stay at Arsenal for too long. So, yeah, Heinek's during one of his early spells at Bayern. as well, picking that one up. And then do we have a player of the year, player of the year that will do the job? Mesut Ozil at Bayern, Rakitic, Michael Ballack at Schalke still going there, Iniesta. So as Freddie Adu, oh no, Freddie Adu, Arsenal, he has had quite a career, hasn't he? My goodness, 322 games, 129 goals for Arsenal in his time. They bought him from Bayern Munich for £46.5 million. So Freddie, this is what you could have had. This is how it could have went if, I'm assuming there was too much pressure on the kid, there usually is, but quite the career. He is only 29 years old, so he's still really in his prime. You forget how young he was at the time when all of this happened and how he still isn't particularly old. As you can see, model citizen, the perfect personality trait. So Arsenal have themselves a gem there in that attacking midfield role. Let's go. I don't really want to look down in the Bundesliga, so let's go to France. Finally, go on. PSG are the holders, although they weren't the big team at the time, really, so they must have made their way there. We go to the past winners. So Lyon had just started their spell of like domination, I think, around here. So Lyon won 7 in a row, I think, at that point. Eventually, they kind of kept going with it. Marseille won a couple titles, Lyon again. Monaco had a good spell, Lyon picking up another win, but then PSG have won the last 6. So they have kind of taken over, asserted themselves as they have in real life at this point. It's scary because that timeline almost is just fit perfectly into what happened. Like 6 years ago, PSG have suddenly appeared and become the force, you know? It's almost scary. Let's take a look at some of the awards then, the winners. So that's player of the month, not too worried about that. So many. Manager of the season, Brad Friedel at RC Lyon. He's now the Lyon manager. Wow, he's a pretty decent manager. Where's he been? As a player at AC Milan, left Blackburn. So he was managed exclusively in France, which is strange. Unai Emery, but that was, I think, just before this all started off. But it almost looks like France wasn't, no, it was done, but it almost looks like it wasn't. Strange. Anyway, that's how it is. Manager of the season. Let's see the players of the year. Where is the best player? So Giroud at PSG, Serna at Monaco, Samuel Eto'o at Monaco, Schneider at Monaco. So Monaco had a very good team for a while. How's the PSG team look like now? Joe Hart in goal. Strange but fair. Giroud. Obviously a lot of these players, like I said, we're not going to know anymore. But it's just worth having a little peek to see who is still where. Cambiasso finally retiring at the age of 38 from Monaco, but what a player he was back in the day. So I think we'll just go to Serie A and get our final. So Lazio, actually, the Serie A winners. I wonder if Mourinho helped them do that. No, he didn't actually win a title there, I don't think. But he got them close. But Lazio, Inter, Juventus, Milan, Parma had a win in there. Roma picked up the first title. So there's been a decent spread. But as far as teams, again, no major surprises. Turin are riding high, but not really doing too much with it. But yeah, Lazio, the holders, how does their squad look? Anyone we know? Kasper Schmeichel on the bench as their sub-goalkeeper, but other than that, no. So that's almost an entirely new side. At least to me, obviously there's going to be players that you will see and it's like, how do you not know him? And it's like, yep, fair, I don't know everybody. Let's go to the awards, see who's been playing in Italy, see who's done some of the things. So many awards that just don't. Manager of the year, here we go. Klopp, Lazio. So there's definitely people kind of left in the game. So obviously, I don't think Klopp would have been on 03, 04. But he'll have been left in and things will have been dropped for his age and stuff. Probably 1982. Well, maybe not. So maybe Klopp was just there. So there's going to be overlap. It's not, you know, everything. That would take way too long for one guy to do. Gerard Houllier at Lazio. Marcello Lippi. Ranieri, Hiddink. This is where I saw, it was Inter and it was David O'Leary and it was just too funny. Like, why is David O'Leary the Inter manager? I don't understand. He was manager at Newcastle, Manchester City, Juventus, and Schalke before going to Inter. That's crazy. David O'Leary. What's their team look like? Look here. Vertonghen, Matuidi, Bonera. He was an absolute star on CMO304. I'd sign him for a free at the end of every single first season, and he'd be a rock at centre half for the rest of time, basically. Stecklenburg, Giuseppe Rossi. So definitely some talent in there. What about the Milan teams? They still have anyone around Company, Koscielny, Philip Lahm, De Rossi. All of the stars, of course, of back then are gone, because that was already a team that was starting to age, even at the time. But what a team it was, as we saw at the beginning of the video. So that's kind of it for clubs. I am going to go and take a quick look back at the clubs in England, because I know some people have been asking about those, and I didn't really look at them. So Manchester United, look at squads real quick. So Bonucci, Fernando Torres made his way to Manchester United, 301 games, 132 goals. So that's a big change for you. I'd do that a lot in Championship Manager as well. Actually, if I was Manchester United, I'd sign Torres. He's a very good player. Velasco, Cristiano Ronaldo we looked at, of course. Is that the Adriano? Oh, the PES 6 legend. 486 games, 338 goals. So he has been an absolute machine for Manchester United in his career. Look at this. Some of these seasons, 33, 31, 35. He's a prolific player. Did some outstanding things. Yeah, the Adriano. I know him best from PES 6, because you could shoot from anywhere and he'd score. It's a shame his career kind of went down the toilet for various reasons. There's plenty of articles online if you want to read about it. It's kind of sad, really. But that's Manchester United. What about, look at Liverpool? Julio Cesar, a different one. Chiellini. There's not a lot. Is that Diego Costa? Actual Diego Costa? I think it might be. I'm going to assume it is the Diego Costa, but I don't know. Could be a different one. So not a lot in Liverpool. But Arsenal. So you know what Freddie Adu, Lewandowski made his way to Arsenal. Busquets. We'll find Chelsea as well. Glenn Johnson, Mats Hummels, Messi, of course, Suarez. That team looks like it should be a lot better. Moutinho, Schweinsteiger. Yeah, a lot of good talent at these clubs. It just isn't really doing a lot. How's Manchester City doing? I wonder if they had their money. That's my big question right now. I looked at City earlier, didn't we? So I remember Adam Lallana popping up and being very confused. But Messi and Ronaldo fighting out in the same league through their careers, just not the one that you may have thought. So that's the leagues. Again, if I've missed anything or there's something else that you want to see, let me know below. We'll take a look at it. But for now, I want to look at the European Championship. So Holland, the current holders. So we've had France, Spain, Holland. So nothing particularly crazy has happened. Let's see if we have anything about runners-up. So Turkey picked up the runners-up, England, Croatia, England. So England, you came close twice, but you still haven't won the Euros. A couple defeats. It was hosted, the 12 host nations. Of course, it moved around there. Germany, Italy. So Holland actually won a home tournament, along with Belgium, was a dual host, but they have picked up the win there to win what was their second championship. So that's the Euros. Let me see who has kind of done anything here. Mandzukic was a best player. Is that what this is? Yes, best player. Ronaldo, Mikeli. I keep going to awards, and that's not what I want. The Golden Boot. Here we go. El Fakari, Nujan, Mandzukic, Marco Pick. Nujan. Okay, I thought so. And then Torres picking it up in 2020. Let me find then the World Cup, and then we'll look at Ballon d'Or and wrap things up. So the FIFA World Cup in 2034, holders are Spain. Scotland won the World Cup. Yes, This entire thing is worth it just for that. Scotland won the World Cup in 2036. I could just turn everything off right now and be satisfied. Oh my. Well, you know what? This whole thing has been scarily accurate so far. So I'm now going to go and put a sizable sum of money on a Scotland win in 2036. And all will be well, I'm sure. Brazil, third place 3 times in a row. France in 2018. I think that had already happened. Only been 3. Holland, Scotland, and Spain, the winners. How? I don't really understand how this happened. I'm not going to complain about it. I just don't really get it. But Scotland World Cup holders. Let me see awards. So best player Wayne Rooney in 2030, still going strong. Where's he playing his football? At Deportivo. So he started with Everton to Bayern to Newcastle to Deportivo. So Wayne Rooney's playing his trade. He's wanted by West Ham. He's going to make his way back to England. Adriano, and then there's Van Nistelrooy, who only played 1 year at United, went to Real Madrid. Accurate. Then PSV, Villarreal for becoming a director of football. So there's a lot of course, Ronaldo was still playing. He played at Real Madrid, then went to Sao Paulo to see out his career. Retired at 34 and kind of disappeared. I forgot he was still in the game, to be honest. Could have checked how he did. There's going to be a lot of old players that we're not going to see, and that's kind of what we can spend some time looking at on another occasion, another video. So what was Golden Boot? What was best player? Jose Antonio Reyes, who went from Sevilla to Manchester United to Bologna to see out his career. A good spell. He's on loan actually from Manchester United, but he, had a very good career both Sevilla and in Manchester. Jan Christiansen, remember him, from Marseille to Arsenal for 7 years, went to Manchester City and then Roma, where he ended his spell as a player. I don't think any of these players are going to be clickable, no. I'm pleased with the Scotland World Cup win. I just want now to see. I haven't played this game that much lately, so I'm very lost as to where things are. So Messi's actually listed as the top player in the world right now, which I guess shouldn't be that surprising. Anything? Ben Alnick from that's. I don't know. I thought I said major transfers. I thought, oh, this will be money, and then I saw Ben Alnick, Kilmarnock to Okayama, and knew that wasn't true. Brazil are the top ranked side in the world right now. Scotland down in 9th, England in 6th. Let's actually take a look and see if some of the minnows have managed to make moves. Any nations you might not expect to be in this position. Any San Marino-esque teams shooting up the rankings? Probably not. Yeah, no, this is all kind of normal. Who's at the bottom? It's Djibouti, I guess. These nations don't count. But Djibouti, Gibraltar, Andorra, San Marino. So, yeah, your usual teams are still down there. That would have been too much to ask for a transformation at that point. Award winners. Here we go. So the FIFA Ballon d'Or. Carlos Tevez picked up a couple times when he played for Arsenal. He's now at Southampton. He had a very good career with the Gunners. Javi Saviola, I think we looked at, didn't we, maybe? No, he did not. Barcelona for pretty much his entire career. He was always a very good player on that database. Thierry Henry won it at one point, retired at 36. He went from Arsenal to Inter for a few years to end his time. Raul won it at Chelsea. So he moved from Real Madrid to Chelsea and actually played until 2030. It's a very long time. Retired at 37. Had a very good career in England, so it's kind of a surprise there. Totti stuck at Roma until he went to Fenerbahce. Retired a lot earlier than he did in real life. About 4 years too soon. There's Messi, of course. We saw plenty of times winning that. So yeah, he became the player that we all know of him today as far as this database goes. So that's the Ballon d'Or. FIFA best men's player. See if anyone else pops up here. We saw Alexis Sanchez earlier. He had a bit of a trip. Atalanta, Bayern, Arsenal to Real Madrid. So he's been around a little bit. Has Sanchez, Joaquin, I think we checked him out. Betis, Liverpool, Benfica before retiring. Adrian Mutu. Remember his cut short spell at Chelsea. He went to Chelsea. Oh no, he was already at Chelsea. He just signed there, right? And he went to Valencia, where he spent most of his career. But he won the Best Player award in 2021, so he had a better stint of it this time around. Then in real life, Shevchenko stayed at Milan his entire career, the rest of his entire career. Zinedine Zidane is an assistant manager at Juventus. His playing career took him to Bolton Wanderers. Zinedine Zidane played at Bolton. Deportivo Alaves Brescia are less funny to me than Bolton. Can you imagine what it was at the time, the Reebok Stadium being graced by Zinedine Zidane? Whew. Tickets would have flown out the door. I can't even click on Figo, so he might not have been around. Just a little unfortunate. Best goalkeeper, Casillas, of course we know. Francesco Toldo was the Inter man for so long, and that's where he ended up at Fiorentina, of course, a long time before that. Canizares, the Valencia goalkeeper, ended his career there. He was already getting on a little bit. Buffon stayed at Juventus, almost just like real life. I keep forgetting he went to PSG. That still baffles me a little bit. But he retired at 40 at Juventus. I think this guy, no, Sebastian Saya is a player. He started at River Plate, went to Manchester City, and then Celta Vigo, where he just won a championship. So that must be nice. I need to stop going up there for this. Let's check out some of the teams of the year then. You might get a little bit more insight here. So we'll go back. So Piqué, Bonucci, Ramos, all hanging around. Let's take a look. So is that Sergio Aguero he's on the team of the year as a central midfielder, not as an attacking midfielder. At Deportivo, spent some time at Manchester United, Porto, and Barcelona as well. So he's been around a lot of big names. Deportivo, his seemingly settled down destination, though he's been there for a good few seasons now. £67 million. So they've had money to throw around. Deportivo were a very good team back then. This was before they fell apart and ended up getting themselves relegated, and all sorts happened to them. Am I back at? Yeah, it's reset me. Okay. Vincent Kompany is in that one. There's Adriano, Aguero again, Contrao. So there's a lot of names that it's nice to see again, as far as playing and being good for, bits and pieces of time. It's Emery, Walter Samuel, Carlos Puyol, John O'Shea at Real Madrid. No way. Oh, that's funny. He spent 12 years at Real Madrid. John O'Shea spent 12 years. He was actually playing and was good. Oh my. John O'Shea. He would be jumping up and down with glee at that. Although, to be fair, he didn't do badly for himself at Manchester United either. Spend his career there is not a bad thing. Until the later stages, of course. But Arjen Robben was at PSV. Where did he end up? Spent a lot of time at PSV, Liverpool, now at Newcastle. He spent most of his career, actually 310 games for the Geordie outfit. So that's a pretty decent haul. That's where I was, yes. There's Henri, Raul, Totti at central midfield, defensive midfield. It's a strange one. Fabio Cannavaro retired at 39, went from Madrid to Deportivo to Nantes just to see things out. I'll go back to the first year just to see Ferran, Maldini. I'm assuming Maldini just stayed. He didn't have much long left and only played a couple more seasons before he was done. Dede, the left back, Rosicky. Went from Dortmund to Newcastle to Liverpool to Sparta Prague. There was another name here I wanted to check out. Juan Sebastian Veron. Went from Chelsea to Juventus to Milan. So there we go. That's kind of where I'm going to wrap up. There's a lot. I've gone kind of fast. I've definitely missed things. But I wanted to make sure we got through and it didn't take us 2 hours to look through everything. If there's enough things that I haven't seen that you kind of want to check out, I'll happily do another video where we just look at certain players and certain teams and things like that. If there's enough interest and enough things. So like I say, do please put down below if there's anything you want to see or you want me to let you know about. If we don't do another video on it, we'll try and look through this and get the information for you and just reply to your comments as they come as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Look into the future. Not a ton has changed. For me, it was scarily accurate, apart from Scotland winning the World Cup. It was scarily accurate in a lot of places. That might just be because of certain things that are left in the game from the database changes and things like that. But still, an enjoyable experience, a fun thing to do. Like I say, if you want to change up your FM experience, this is the time of year where the game gets a little stale. I haven't really played the game itself in a long time. this is a great way to do it. Get this database, and just, it's all fresh. There are different players, different situations. They can get your drive back. Like I say, the link is below. Go for it. It's a lot of fun. Mad Scientist did an excellent job on it. And yeah, rate the database, give it 5 stars, get it out there, because it's a really cool thing. So thank you very much for watching. Like I say, hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you liked it, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more stuff. I might be bringing some more FM game based content back soon, question mark maybe. Don't hold me to it, but I'd like to. And yeah, if you want to see some of that stuff, or any other experiments you want me to do, let me know. I'm always up for doing things like this. They're kind of fun to do and to see. And breathe. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.